A warm welcome to our Miracles Tribe members and our Miracles Attraction community on Facebook. I'm Teresa McGallagher here today with my partner, Carly Judd Hardy. And we have another fascinating guest for you in our series of people whose lives have been positively transformed by their spiritual practice of A Course in Miracles. So Carly will introduce Britney Shawley to you.
Thank you, Teresa. And thank you, Brittany, for joining us today.
Thank you
What
for
a
having
treat
me.
it is to have you. And I'm excited because Brittany's story centers around the kitchen, around food, which I think because we do it all day, every day, what a neat thing to be talking about those things in concurrence with A Course in Miracles. So Brittany is founder of Whole and Healthy Kitchen. She's a mom, a mindset coach, a miracles advocate, and your biggest support system to awakening your love for self and wholesome home cooking. It's such a beautiful combination. Thank you for bringing that. She feels like she's been called to help others for a long, long time. She's been in the coaching profession for over 10 years. Early on, however, it was very difficult for her to help herself. She used to have a terrible relationship to food and no relationship to God whatsoever. She would binge eat every night, never cooked healthy meals, and became very overweight and unhappy. And so her story today is to tell us that she suddenly surrendered her life to a power greater than herself and learned to train her mind through A Course in Miracles. Now she nourishes herself daily, the weight fell off, and her whole life has changed. She also feels like she's living her soul's purpose. And Brittany, what a delight to have you help us all. I think that's where life really begins to happen, when you feel like you're living your soul's purpose. She's filled with joy and dedicates her time to pouring her skills, education, and talents into a mission of increasing the quality of health and happiness on the planet. She knows that there's a collective awakening that's happening and that we can all do our part by starting in our own minds, with our families, and our home kitchens. So thank you, Brittany. Yeah, so with that introduction, we'll let you begin to share your story with us.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here. I'm always happy to share this story of how God's worked in my life. So you kind of touched upon it a little bit about where I kind of started from, but I'll just kind of start back at the beginning so people just have an understanding of, really kind of the frame of mind and life I was in. So it all began for me when I was in my fifth and final year of university. And I was at a point where I was at a crossroads. What am I going to do here? And I started to become aware that being a teacher, which is what I went to school for 5 years, was not really what I was going to do. I didn't want to repeat the same lessons over and over again. But I didn't know how to get out of that. And I thank God that my university went on strike for 16 weeks. And so it gave me an opportunity to step back from the world, kind of like COVID, right? Where I was literally like, okay, I don't have to go and do anything. I'm just going to focus on myself. And I, at that point, had what I called like a binge eating disorder get out of control. And I couldn't stop myself from this addiction. And it was something that had accumulated from childhood and just really got really, really out of control for me. I almost felt like it had a power over me in some really odd sense. And so I knew I needed help. I really low self-esteem, really low self-worth, very doubt-filled, uncertain. But I was open to answers. And so I was reading stuff like Eat, Pray, Love at the time. And she has a part in there where she needs help and she falls to her knees and she calls to God and God answers her. And I remember in my mind saying, if she could do it, I could do it too. Because up until this point, I was not religious, I was not Christian, didn't read the Bible. I was like, I knew there was something greater than myself, but it was very mysterious, never talked about, totally taboo. So this was like not normal for me to like bring God into my life. But I was like, okay, maybe I can. So after a terrible binge, realizing I really, really need help, I also went on the floor and I closed my eyes and I said, God, like the question I asked was, what void am I trying to fill? Because I kept trying to like fill myself with so much food. And the answer that I heard in my mind that shocked me was that I was afraid of failing. I was like, afraid of failing at what? oh my God, I saw the floodgates, right? I saw absolutely everything that I was afraid of. And in that moment, I realized that my life was based on fear. Everything that I was doing was based on fear and what the outside world told me that I should be doing. And it was time for a change. And so it was in that moment that I said, okay, fine, God, I give my life to you. Like, if love is the answer, which is what I felt like I was being told, like, you have to lead me because I have no idea what that means. I have no idea what I'm doing. So like, please show me the way. So I was just kind of open-handed, open-hearted, open-minded, lead me, show me. And it just so happened the final, few weeks of the strike, I was led to people and spontaneous instances that brought me to become a life coach. But the field of life coach that I went down was more like hypnosis, NLP, like understanding the power of your mind. I went right directly to understanding your mind is cause, the effect is in your experience. If you really want to heal, you got to heal your mind. So I was like, okay, open to that. And then, I just started progressing spiritually, and people started to come to support me. And I realized I'm not going to be a teacher, but I'm going to, help people. I know it's here to help. And so that was at a point where I was starting to ask for bigger things, because I started to realize, like, it's an ask and receive universe. Like, what I ask for, I receive. Thank you, God. And I asked to put on a workshop in Hawaii, and I just kind of asked it, let it go. And within a week, I had this woman call me, and she said, I saw what you do. I love what you do and how you help people. Do you want to put on a workshop in Hawaii? So I was like, yeah, of course I do. Thank you. So I just, trusted God that the money would be there, and it was. And I went out and I worked with this woman. She was a medicine woman, and it was really healing and beautiful. But the thing that was powerful and that turned me into A Course in Miracles was that I was there on October 10th, 2010. 10 was my power number. It like spoke to me, and I just happened to be there on that day. And because it was like a Trinity day, she's like, you know what, let's connect with the healers that she knew around the planet. And one of them was a channeler of Yeshua, Jesus. And foreign, new for me, right? Hello, but I'm open. So I'm there and I'm listening. And as soon as like Jesus basically starts being channeled through her, the energy shifts, everything changes, and you know that this is serious business. And so I'm listening, and the message that he gave to everybody on the call that night was that you are anchors of love and light on this planet. He said, you are here to help save the world along with me. Salvation is our game. And I am going to be here to be your guide, to be your teacher, to be your friend. Listen to me. I'll show you everything you need to know. And I bawled my face off. I was like, oh my God, are you serious? Me? Like, what? And so I for like hours on the beach, I cried, but received. And I said, yes, yes, yes. So by the time I came home, I was like, okay, this is what's going to happen now. And I was seeing someone at the time. As soon as I saw him, I'm like, no, done. Like, I knew the energy was shifted, and I went home, and I fell to my knees again, because prayer works, right? And I said, dear God, like, I now want the partner to help me mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, on every level of my being, so I can help save the world with Jesus. And within a week, my partner, my husband now, who's here, father of my child, he brought to me his heart and soul, but he also brought to me the A Course in Miracles. And as soon as I saw the A Course in Miracles with Jesus on the cover, I was like, oh my God, this is my answer. And that night I went to bed crying, saying, yes, thank you. And I've never stopped studying and listening to and reading and applying the A Course in Miracles ever since. And the beautiful thing about the course is it showed me even setting up my life coach practice in the way I was of my own doing, and that I needed to even let that go. So there was a period of 5 to 8 years where Tom and I just traveled by the seat of our pants. God, where would you have us be? And that was around the time where I was guided in meditation one day to start recording the A Course in Miracles lessons. I'm like, I'm learning it myself. I learn better as I teach. This is just what I do. Let me just turn on the camera. So you guys have probably seen my videos. I don't know. But I'd wake up in the morning. I'm still in my PJs, my hair crazy. Hi, beautiful souls. Just like recording what I'm learning, just in it, right? Just ready. And I just allowed myself to be a channel. And I really felt like the more that I gave, the more I received, and the more that I taught, the more that I learned. And it became my way of life. I was just trusting God, and we went everywhere. And it was by the time that Tom and I were traveling California and traveling, just the world at large, that, God brought these people to us. And I always knew that I wanted to give back to them in some way, rather than them just, help, housing us for a while and, spiritually helping them. I really wanted to be of service in other ways. And at this point I had fallen in love with food, because I now get to cook for Tom and not just me. And so now I'm traveling with all these people, and I'm like making food for these families and learning about all different cultures, and, really, really loving food. And I realized that it was in the act of giving that I was nourished, and that anytime I was thinking about myself and trying to lose weight and blah, 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 that's where I was getting caught in my web of just like sabotage and Britneyness. But when food turned about serving others, that's where I was like, I've got something here. Like this lights me up. And then when we were in California, Tom and I ended up getting pregnant. We knew she was coming for an hour and a half before she came. We knew she was coming. We knew her name, but it just happened to land when we were in California. And that was at the point where I was like, oh my God, now I'm responsible for nourishing the growing body of this baby. Sure, it's true. I am a soul. I am God's child. That is the truth of my eternal being. It will never change. But while I'm walking this planet, I am responsible to feed and nourish this body so it could be a vessel of God while I'm here. So I need to have this food be an act of love. It needs to be an extension of God's kingdom. And I need to use it to bless my brothers and sisters, including my child who is now coming through me, right? Which included myself because I'm the vessel for her for 9 to 10 months, right? So I really started seeing the importance of nourishing ourselves and feeding ourselves well and bringing conscious love and attention and guidance to the food that we eat. And that is really where, you know, all of the guidance of everything that I had learned along the way came together in this, oh my God, I'm here to bring a whole and healthy kitchen to the world. And it scared me because I was like, you know, trying to rectify where is it that I'm being of service to God? And then it become like a purpose and form. But everything that was a conflict in my mind melted away when I remembered the purpose and the goal of everything that I'm doing and what it's for, right? So like, it just has become like this holy act in my life that blesses me, it blesses others' families. And like, as you read in the intro, you know, my mission is to increase the quality of health and happiness on this planet. My very first coaching practice was called Making You Happier and Healthier.com, right? Like it's always been my mission. It's in the Bible. Like it's just who I am and what I'm here for. And Whole and Healthy Kitchen is that in this beautiful bow. And I get to do everything I want to do and love to do every single day. And I know it's because of the A Course in Miracles. I wouldn't be able to do it without Jesus. I wouldn't be able to do it without the Course in Miracles. Like still to this day, mind training is still essential. It's in my everyday habits. It's in my everyday living. But I feel like because I've cleared out the junk in my mind, I'm now a conduit of spirit in my everyday life. And it comes into my food. It comes into my parenting. It comes into my work. It comes into my habits. It's my life. I live the A Course in Miracles. And this is why I'm like, everything he promises is true. Like joy is the kingdom. Like, and it's possible to live here, even in the middle of COVID when the world's going to hell, you know, like this is part of it. Right. And I'm grateful to have found my role, and I'm grateful to have had my life story unfold the way that it has, and to really be the demonstration that truth is true. And that doesn't change just because we're living in this world, but we can live in the world and not be of it as well. So that's pretty much, it brings you to where I am today. Yeah.
That's just beautiful, Brittany. And your enthusiasm and joy just shine through in everything that you're doing. I'm sure that you're a blessing to the people that you're working with. Would you tell our audience where they can find out more about you online?
Absolutely. I am, if you wanted to take a look at the A Course in Miracles lessons that I did, they're all still up on YouTube. And I'm even in the process of starting up another series with that, which really makes my heart excited. And I've been waiting. It's been a few years where I've had to focus on my business and kind of backside the videos, but videos coming back, the guidance is there. So that's called Britney Shawley on YouTube. You can just find me as Britney Shawley on YouTube. Then you can find me Britney Shawley on Facebook. I'm very active on Facebook. You can also find me at Whole and Healthy Kitchen on Facebook, as well as Instagram, and my Whole and Healthy Kitchen website, which is everything that I teach. That is a combination of the relationship to food side of things and just finding your workflow in the kitchen, and as well as your perception, your relationship, your way to view food and yourself. So that's wholeandhealthykitchen.com. And yeah, reach out to me anytime. I love chatting about all things A Course in Miracles.
Thank you. We're so grateful for the light that you're shining in this world.
Thank you so much.